Today we are talking about dihybrid crosses. So basically what that means is that we are crossing two different traits. So di means two, hybrid means different. So we are looking at two traits. So in this example, we're looking at a tall green pea plant that is being crossed with a short white pea plant. So the two traits that we're looking at is going to be height and color. Okay. Okay, so here they give you a key as to what everything means. So it's showing you that capital T, so homozygous dominant, capital T, and capital T lowercase t is going to give you tall. This is telling us that tall is dominant. Okay, for the color, capital G lowercase g, so homozygous, dominant, and heterozygous is going to give us green. So green equals dominant. Okay. And remember, as a reminder, the only way to get the recessive traits is if they only have recessive letters. So the first thing that we need to do here in order to set up our, our little spots that we have created outside of the Punnett square is we need to foil. Okay. And the reason we need to foil is because if you just put, for example, the tall pea plant, if we just put capital T, big G, and do the same thing for the other one, this isn't telling us anything. So when we fill in this Punnett square, we just know that this is heterozygous for height. We have no idea what it's telling us for the color, okay? So I'm going to clear my page, and we're going to start the process. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to foil. So foil, very similar to how you do it in math, stands for first, outer, inner, and last, okay? So I'm going to do different colors so you can easily see it. The first thing that we're going to look at, let's do blue, is we're going to do the first plant. These are the letters, okay? So I have capital T, capital G, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my first letter, the T. My first letter is going to multiply with the first letter from the second trait, okay? So I have TG. The next one, my outer letter, so my first letter is going to multiply with my outer letter, and that's also going to give me capital T, capital G. Then we're going into the inner letter of this first trait is going to multiply with the inner letter of the second trait, capital T, capital G. And then the second letter of the first trait is going to multiply with the last letter of the second trait, TG. Okay? So the letters that are going to line my box are going to be capital T, capital G, capital T, capital G, capital T, capital G, capital T, capital G. Okay? So we did that one. Now let's move to the second plant. So this one, we can lower it a little bit. I'm going to do this one in, let's do orange. So my genotype is little t, little g, little g. And we're going to just do the same thing. I'm going to take my first letter from the first trait and multiply it with my first letter from the second trait. That's going to give us TG. My first letter from the first trait is going to get multiplied with the second letter of the second trait, capital T, capital G. Then I'm going to take the inner letter of the first trait and I'm going to multiply with the inner letter of the second trait, TG, TG. And the same thing, my second letter of the first trait is going to multiply with the last letter of the second trait. Okay, and then I'm going to put those alleles on the side. Okay, now you can do your Punnett square. So I'm going to pick another color again. Let's do this like teal color, okay? So I think it is much easier if you put all the similar letters together. So put all your T's together, put all your G's together, okay? It'll be easier for you to look at that box and say, okay, this is this phenotype, this is that phenotype, this is going to look like this. So I have a capital T here. I'm going to put that one first. I have a little t here. I'm going to put that one in. Then I'm going to do my second trait. remember, it is common practice to put your dominant letter first for a certain trait. So I have my capital T, my dominant trait is going to go first, then my recessive trait for height, then my dominant trait of my second allele, and then the same thing here. And you're just going to keep going and fill in those boxes. Okay? They're all going to be the same because they all have the same letters up here. So all of these are heterozygous dominant. All of these are the same thing. So we're just going to fill in our box. Oh, that's my bad. Okay, so my Punnett score is complete. Now, now I'm going to determine how many of each plant I have. So in total, we have 16, okay? So, tall green. You're going to go through your Punnett square, and anytime you have remember we said tall is dominant, so anytime you have a capital letter T, your plant is going to be that trait. So tall, remember, it needs to have at least one capital T. G has to have at least one capital G. In order for it to be tall, it needs to have, again, another capital T. White is recessive, so it would need to have 2 letters. Short would need to have 2 letters of the recessive trait. Green, capital, and then that's the only way you'll get white, okay? So I'm going to go through my box. In this particular example, every box has at least one capital T and a capital G. So all of these are going to be tall and green because the tall trait is shown by the capital T, they all have one, and the green trait is shown by the capital G, which they all have. So you are going to have 16 tall and green and 0 for everything else, okay? Let's try the second example, okay? So we have a tall green plant is crossed with a tall white pea plant, or a tall green pea plant. So it gives you the genotypes here. So capital T, capital G, big G, little g, and we're just going to FOIL. So capital T is going to multiply with G. I'm going to fill in that spot up here already. The first letter is going to multiply with that outer letter. Then I'm doing my second trait, and then my last one, okay? Then our second plant is, let's do a different color, capital T, capital G, little g. Same idea, capital T and capital G are multiplying, capital T and little g, little t with big G. So in this case, I know I told you to keep your dominant letters first, but you want to make sure that your traits are consistent too. So yes, capital G, oh my goodness, capital G with that idea would go before T, but all of our T's are before the G's. So we're going to keep it the same. And then little t, little g. Okay, so let's fill in our box. Just do it with black, capital T, capital T, capital G, capital G. Don't mind the printer. Okay, we're just filling in our box.
Ooh. Good morning.
Good Good morning. Okay, so we are just filling in our Punnett square. Sorry, y'all. My room is a hub. Okay, so we filled in our box. So, just like we did with the last one, capital, for it to be tall, you need capital G, at least one. For it to be green, you need at least one capital G. Tall, at least one capital. White, you need 2 lowercase. Short, you need 2 lowercase t's. Green, you need 1 capital. Short, lowercase. White, lowercase. Okay, so go through your boxes. I'm going to basically highlight each trait with a different color. And anytime I believe it's that trait, we're going to go through and just mark it. Okay, so this one is I have at least 1 capital T and 1 capital G. That's going to be tall and green. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing here. And I'm just going to go through and see if I have at least one. Oh, wait. Ooh, that was my bad. Okay, so I go through. So here I have a capital T. So, okay, so for this particular box, I have a capital T, but I have lowercase g's. So instead of it being white, or I'm sorry, tall and green, this one's going to be tall and white because it has those recessive letters. This one, capital T, capital G, it's going to be tall and white. I'm sorry, tall and green. The next one is going to be tall and white because it still has those recessive letters. The next box, 1 capital in each trait. Same thing here, same thing here, same thing here, same thing here. This one, we have the 2 recessive G's, so it's not going to be white. I mean, it's not going to be green. Sorry, guys. 1 capital letter, same thing here. So they are all tall because they all have at least 1 capital T, which makes sense because when we foiled and we did everything we did, you only have capital T's here. Because of that, because they are all showing the dominant trait, all of your boxes are going to have the capital T. Therefore, they're all going to be dominant because these 4 are all capital. Okay? But because we had the different G's, you got the different trait for the second gene. Okay? So in this example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 tall and white, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 tall and white. These are going to be 0. These are going to be 0. Okay? Hopefully